Welcome to You, Me, Empathy. Thank you for listening. We would like to remind you that this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Known as just a silly boy with a feely heart. Please consider supporting the show. Check us out on Patreon or simply leave a review on iTunes. Here's your host and creator of the show, Known Wells.
Hello! Welcome to You, Me, Empathy. My name is Known Wells, and I am the creator and host of this show. This is episode 27. I talk with my friend Katie Nicole Stahl-Kovell to explore mental health in motherhood and birth trauma. We explore things like preeclampsia, midwifery. I like saying that word. Midwifery. Sorry. We also talk about home birth and epidurals and postpartum PTSD, mental health tips for moms, and breastfeeding rights and awareness. Katie is a delight and just full of information. So this is a must listen for moms, parents, really all humans, I think, should know this stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. Before we get to the episode, do me a favor. Go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and leave You, Me, Empathy a rating and review. I'd like to see more there so I can read them on the show. Wouldn't that be fun? You can hear your name come out of my mouth. Isn't that a delight for you? I'm sorry. Again. But seriously, go do that. It helps out the show. It's free to do. And you can also support the show on Patreon if you want. Patreon.com/YouMeEmpathy. It's a way to support the show financially on an ongoing basis for as little as 25 cents an episode. Easy peasy. Do that. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening and empathizing with us. Enjoy this episode 27, on motherhood and birth trauma with my friend, Katie Nicole Stahl-Kovell.
You and me, empathy. La la la, la 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 la. You, me, empathy. Yeah, la la la.
Welcome to You, Me, Empathy, a podcast about exploring the struggles we face in our day-to-day lives as humans trying to get by on this wondrous and overwhelming pale blue dot. The intent of You, Me, Empathy is to talk openly, without judgment, about our neuroses, our mental illnesses, our shared anxieties and worries, to create a dialogue that is vulnerable and deeply human and empathetic, and to share that dialogue with others to inspire emotional and cognitive collaboration and insight so we can, hand in hand, break down the stigma that make us feel shame and guilt for struggling, for feeling our feelings, for being human. You, Me, Empathy is a safe place, a conversation between friends, a place to inspire the beauty in each of us. Today, I am grateful to explore motherhood and the trauma of birth with mama feminist, English nerd, and wayfaring pop-up traveler, Katie Nicole Stahl-Kovell. Hello, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
There's lots of names in your name.
I think there are 4, right?
Yes.
Katie Nicole Stahl. Yeah. 4 is my lucky number. So
okay,
that's
perfect.
what I shoot for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Well, before we get into you and your story, we're going to just do a check-in, an emotional check-in. So how's your week been going?
Well, we have donated most of our things and are about to live on the road for a year. And with that comes some emotional drama.
Yeah.
Needless to say. So I would say it's going okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going as good as we can. I experience a lot of anxiety before a trip. And so this isn't really a trip. It's more like a I don't know, a journey.
Yeah,
or,
this is a massive change.
yes. And so I've had a lot of, active anxiety, but have been working through it. So doing a lot of mindfulness exercises, trying to avoid sugar, then eating a lot of sugar, and then feeling bad about it and doing more mindfulness exercises. So, yeah.
So for the listeners
Sure.
that they're not aware, describe like what you're doing. You're taking a huge sort of life leap.
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely call it a leap. My husband and I, Dan, call it a leap into the unknown. Or we're spreading our cookies everywhere. I don't know if that's a normal saying or if that's just a saying.
Spreading our cookies everywhere.
Throwing your cookies to the wind. I think it's actually said a different way.
Okay.
Is it, or like sheets to the wind? I have no idea. But
two sheets to the wind?
2 sheets to the wind. But wait, that means you're wasted.
I think so.
No, we're not. We're just throwing our basically.
They're just getting in a car,
wind.
Driving, and then just getting shit faced.
Not with a toddler and a preemie in the car, but yeah. So we are finishing up remodeling I think it's a 1993 pop-up camper. And for those of you who don't know what it is, I didn't know what a pop-up camper was. It's basically this long rectangular shell that you can pull behind a truck, or we have a 498, I think, 4Runner. And then you crank it open and you can slide out the dinette and slide out 2 beds, and it becomes this big Harry Potter Goblet of Fire-esque step into a magical tent kind of thing. But so we decided we wanted to live on the road for 9 months to a year, or 2 years, or 3 months, or whatever our hearts are telling us, but it'll probably be more like a year, and see where life takes us with our 2 kids.
That's amazing. Also, I'm envious.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Hey, you could do this on, look, you have a mobile setup, but your partner teaches though, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's really one keeping me.
Oh, no.
Keeping me, that came out wrong, but she knows that, like, we've talked about, like, I would love to adventure more. And we've actually been actively traveling more over the last few years, which has been great.
Super good for mental health, I found.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. But that sounds like an amazing adventure, and I can't wait to hear. Are you sort of planning to sort of updates from the road type of situation?
Well, so that's my current struggle. I'm deleting my Facebook because I realized that I was putting too much emotional value into my social media persona and not as much value into my actual corporeal, physical self, spiritual self.
Sure.
And that I was so concerned with, helping other people who I perhaps did not know very well before helping myself and taking care of my family. And so after, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but after our traumatizing experience this summer, I'm kind of turning inwards, I'm focusing on the self, and at the same time opening my arms to the vivid wonders of life, the smells and the tastes and the sights, and pulling myself, out of the computer a little bit. That's
healthy. We actually have, it's not out yet as we're recording this, but it will be out by the time this is out. I talked to my friend David about disconnected culture. We had an episode just on that, and
can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, and I think that is an important perspective and just a good framework for balance, in our lives. Well, last question about this journey of yours. Where's the first stop?
So we don't have too much planned.
Okay.
We're going to be in Morro Bay. We're leaving Easter Sunday, and we're going up to Morro Bay. I had a traffic ticket in Santa Barbara that I was going to fight, but then the officer wrote me and dismissed the ticket. So we don't have to be in Santa Barbara anymore. But I felt like I wanted to leave on April 1st, April Fools. I just felt like,
Sure.
It's a little bit of a happy foolish trip, Or maybe some more conservative leading minds would think this would be foolish,
Sure.
to leave everything that we know and to just venture off. So Morro Bay, and then I have to be in Utah in June for my mother's 60th birthday. Then I have to be in Arizona in July for my grandmother's 80th birthday. And then we have friends and family to visit, bears. I heard there are wolves. I've never seen one. So I'm really excited to.
I've never seen a wolf in the wild. I've seen bears. I've seen moose. I've seen mountain lions.
I'm a little nervous about that as we have 2 children. So, but we are armed with bear spray.
Okay.
And unscented dish soap. So hopefully that helps.
the key to bears is the spray can help, but like making noise. So if you're like walking in the woods or whatever,
I have a very noisy toddler.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So.
Kids are natural bear repellents, as the guidebooks say. Well, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hear about it, even if it's 1 year later. For me, I was just going to mention that as of this recording, just this weekend was the March for Our Lives.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Jessica and I went to the one in Santa Ana, and, just kind of blown away by the sort of level of empathy on display. Scooby's making noise in the corner. I'm just going to call that out here on the podcast. I mean, it was just really great to see, and I'm just inspired to see our young persons, our young people in the world sort of embracing this more progressive, empathetic, compassionate sense of self, and it's inspiring, and I was just happy to be there. So, yeah,
awesome,
yeah. Okay, Katie. Today we're going to talk about motherhood. You are a mother.
Yes.
I want to talk about your experience as a mother, but before we get into that, I want to understand you a little bit more and your mental health. Here's a question. Was mental health a thing? Was it a thing you guys talked about as growing up in your household?
No, never.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was a super angry kid, like very angry, trigger happy angry, creative, inventive, but wonderfully angry child. And my dad purchased a punching bag, like an actual punching bag for me when I was in the 2nd grade.
Okay.
And he said, whenever you're feeling angry, just go lay it in that punching bag, just give it everything. And I would. And, help physical activity, oxytocin.
Sure.
So, of course, I'd feel better after.
Yeah.
But that was my therapy growing up, was a punching bag. So, yeah. But no, it was never discussed.
Why? I mean, retrospectively, do you have any insight where that anger came from?
Yes, but I also, it's difficult because I feel like I don't want to play the blame game,
Sure.
I'm very grateful for my parents and for my upbringing, but my mother fell pregnant quite quickly with my little sister and had a very difficult pregnancy, and my little sister was a NICU baby. And this is something I've just discovered myself this year. So I think I had suffered some early emotional neglect, but not at the fault of anyone, And also my mom and dad struggled with, I think, their own mental health. So it was never discussed.
Okay.
So yeah, I think there's quite a large family history that feeds into it. And then just also not really knowing my place in the family. I was very much the awkward middle child and the odd duck. My little sister and older sister are just super close. And I was always saying the wrong thing or, getting into trouble in school somehow or not being able to pay attention, in public school. Mm-hmm. And I was the loud child and the everywhere child. So I think that just childhood itself was difficult for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can relate to that. I was the middle child, and
you were.
I was.
Hey, we need an episode about middle children. Truly.
And I did feel always a bit of an outcast, and not sort of knowing how to deal with school and not doing great at making friends and stuff for sure.
Yeah. Well, schools all, at least for our generation, I'm not sure exactly what it's like now, though I do teach, in a public forum, but college education. I don't know what it's like at the elementary level, but it was all about learn this, memorize this. And that is not what I'm good at. That's not what I excel at. I'm good at ideas.
Sure.
And putting plans into motion. And I know that now as an adult that that kind of education wasn't well suited to the kind of person that I am. So knowing that now is, kind of healing. So...
And it seems like, obviously I was a kid and I didn't have like the knowledge back then, but it seems like the sort of education modalities are far broader now. There's a lot more options for parents. Is that true?
So if we're talking about parenting or in schools?
No, just in schools, like, you have like Montessori's, you have like all these sort of different alternative options for parents.
Yeah, there are alternative options. And my husband and I have explored them for our preschool age son. And we couldn't find anything that we felt was well suited for him. So we're doing homeschool on the road, obviously. I think there are more options, but there's also more pitfalls that you can fall into. So you might take your child to a school that says Montessori, and it's all about teaching your child to think creatively and to be a strong individual. But the couple of Montessori schools I visited were kind of scary. There was this bell that they rang, and then the children would know right away that they were supposed to jump in line and jump to attention. And it was kind of for Dan and I as
like
academics.
the Von Trapp household.
Yes, and I was like, I don't want a Von Trapp child. I don't want Allie to hear a bell and to jump into line.
Sure.
So. Yeah, but again, that might just be the schools that we looked at. I've heard lots of people say they love their Montessori, and Waldorf education would love to do it. It's so expensive, though.
Right.
And I heard there are scholarships, but I as we're going on the road, it's something we'll definitely think about when we land. Waldorf education is what I would want for Allie and Bernard. So,
it's interesting, this idea about, and I think it's why I certainly struggled is in education, and I think this applies to lots of things in life, is there's this idea that one size fits all, right? There's this idea that like we have this blanket thing and you need to sort of force yourself and just make it work. And I think that some can make it work, but I think it's problematic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I would say, and maybe this could lead into talking about your experience as a mother.
Yeah.
I think that same thing applies to motherhood. Yeah. And by that, I mean, there's this idea that, I'm sure you could speak a lot about this, moms need to be a certain thing. And like our culture sort of projects this vision of what a mom is, right?
And that changes rapidly too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Sure. So, man, I don't know what the current expectations are for motherhood. I've been trying not to follow the trend. But I do know if we're thinking about like second wave and third wave feminism, that, a mom right now needs to be everything. She needs to be a worker. She needs to be a domestic laborer. She needs to be emotionally present for her partner, right? And also be physically fit and be feeding her child organic, grass-fed everything that's been hand blended from her in this grinder that she could only purchase from an Etsy store. I have no idea. But I feel like for motherhood, this is my opinion and the opinion of my close cohort of friends who I'm so blessed to have, is you find what works for you and your family and you run with it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what motherhood should be, and fatherhood and grandparenthood, is you find your rhythm. And it might be a combination of, let's say, attachment parenting, and, what we consider normal, standard parenting, whatever works for you. We happen to, I'm trying to think what tags we have. We're co-sleepers. We breastfeed.
What does co-sleeper mean?
Okay, so co-sleeping is technically within the same room. So a lot of people don't know this. Within the same room, your child is somewhere with you, whether they're in a crib or with you in bed. Bed sharing is where the child is in the bed with you.
Okay.
We actually do bed sharing.
Okay.
And according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, I think that they're okay with it now, but there's a lot of shame and stigma attached with sharing your bed with your child. And there's two reasons for that. I think the first reason is there was a large campaign to get children out of the bed so that people would purchase cribs way back in the day.
Okay.
Just like, the campaign for women to shave their legs and their armpit hair. Same thing, right?
Sure,
there was that corporate, commerce reason. And then the other reason, I think, is because it's hard for after women have babies, we're supposed to go back to being these like sexualized, objectified things, objects. And if there's a child in the bed, what some of my family members have said, oh, you co-sleep or you bed share, when do you and, Dan? I'm like, how is that your business? Right? I'm like,
yeah,
you are my grandma. Like, why are we talking about this? It's just like, no, that's none of your business. And hello, creativity, my friends. Like, I mean, when did people, I don't understand, why that's someone's business. And also, the lack of creativity in people's minds to even, ask that question.
Yeah.
But, so we do that and, love that because I get more sleep. My baby Bernie can latch and I'm still sleeping.
Okay.
And then unlatch so he can have a snack. So we don't do sleep training or anything like that. But I do know many people, like even my family members who did sleep training, which can be many different things. One of the ways that people sleep train babies is cry it out, where they, let their baby cry at different intervals.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And there's all of these, peer-reviewed articles that I've read about how damaging that is to the infant mind. And I used to be very aggressively against it. And then I've come to realize, after my second child, is that different families need different things to work for them. And yes, it is probably damaging in some way, especially, as science has backed that claim up. But at the same time, if mom and dad aren't whole and healthy and able to take care, and if they really need sleep for mental health, et cetera, then they're going to do what works for their family.
Yeah.
So I don't see it. Some people see it as abuse, and I see it as people trying to find their way,
Right.
doing what works for them. But it's a slippery slope. And so that's why my goal with my Mama Feminist Instagram, which I haven't been posting much because I'm drawing away from social media, is to empower, other moms to just find what works for them and to honor their path, their own individual path.
I think that's an important lesson in all of mental health. And it's something we talk a lot about on this podcast, but I think it needs repeating is we need to do what's right for us and our partners and our children and the people in our lives we love. And the world of being a mom, being a parent, the world of having depression, the world of experiencing some mental health struggle, it's a huge thing. And it's hard to always know what's best because we're always fed so many different opinions and peer-reviewed articles and sort of headlines and all these things and inputs from grandmothers and all these things. And it's you just have to breathe and take a step back and just kind of have a little bit of kindness toward yourself and understand that you're doing your best job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing the best with what you know. And there's this wonderful Maya Angelou quote, which is, I think, do what you can until you know better and then do better. And so with someone as educated as I am, I'm writing my dissertation about childbirth. A lot of times with other mom friends, I might, they might be talking about the kinds of birth they want or things they want to do with their children. And I perhaps, have filed in my brain like 10 studies that are pointing to, that's probably not a good idea, but it's not my job to share that with them.
Okay.
My job is to support them.
Yeah.
And if they want my honest opinion, I will definitely give it and help them make an educated and informed decision. But I would not want to shove my opinion down anyone's throat, you know? And that's what I think creating community is all about, is really respecting everyone's individual life journey and realizing that we're all in this together. So,
yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Walk me through your experience this past summer. You had mentioned that, and I think it's an important one to bring up, and I think it's something that other people can relate to and certainly learn from.
Yeah. So I had something called severe preeclampsia that happened at 32 weeks gestation. So that's about, for those of you who don't speak baby talk, it's about 2 months early before the baby should be born.
Okay. And I was raising my hand. I didn't know.
Don't worry. I'm used to speaking to my moms, my academics, and lay people. So I got everyone.
Good.
So, anywho, so I developed this thing. And I knew I was going to develop this. I'm not a witch or anything like that. But my sisters and I have this thing where sometimes we know when things are going to happen before they happen. And the moment I felt pregnant, we got pregnant Halloween night. I knew I was pregnant. I just had a feeling I was pregnant. And then Trump got elected. I think, what was that? 9 days later.
Yeah, shortly after.
Yeah.
November 8th. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the 9th is when he became, that was my birthday, by the way. I was in Canada by myself, and then I knew I was pregnant, though no test would tell me
You should change your birthday.
I think that's the day Obama was, I don't know. Anywho, moving on. Sorry, I get off track easily. I had this ominous feeling during this pregnancy that something was going to go wrong. And then I had read this long expose by The Guardian, I believe. And about this nurse developing severe preeclampsia and dying because the hospital wasn't doing their job, wasn't supporting the mom in the way she needed to be supported. And I think she died of a stroke. So anywho, I had swelling in my face at 32 weeks. I had a very good friend by the name of Cassandra who had also had severe preeclampsia. And this is a rare condition to develop, who said, I think you need to have your midwife check you. My first birth was a midwifery vaginal birth, no meds, no drugs. And so I called the midwives and they told me to have someone drive me down. But me being stubborn and being a scholar of childbirth, I thought I knew myself well enough. So I taught my dance class at UC Riverside. And then I drove myself down to Long Beach from Riverside. And when the midwife checked me in, I told her I was seeing spots in my vision. So she had me sit immediately and my blood pressure was like 180 over 110. And for those of you who, do you know what that means? Because I didn't at the time.
I just know it's very high.
Yeah, radically high.
Yeah.
Especially for a pregnant person. And so I started crying because, she looked really sad because everyone at Beach Cities Midwifery knows me, knows the work I'm doing for my dissertation, how passionate I am about midwifery birth and about empowering women to have non-medical births if they're able to.
Okay, so they were crying in response, thinking that you're going to have
a hospital
you're going to have a hospital birth.
Well, and also that my life was in danger and my baby's life was in serious danger.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't have my baby here. And they said, no, can someone drive you to the hospital? You need to get there immediately or we have to call an ambulance. And I was very lucky that though I'd driven myself and my husband and toddler were in Riverside, my mother-in-law was near. And so she drove, she came within 10 minutes. She was very quick and drove me to Long Beach Memorial Miller's Children and Women's Hospital. And I met with two OBGYNs. I very quickly was a snob and informed them, regardless of my condition, that I knew what was going on.
Okay.
I don't know if you're like me, but when I get scared, I get snobby.
Okay.
And I was like, I know what's happening here.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, Katie, we're happy that you're an educated person.
You want to maybe control a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Sure.
My control flares when I get nervous. And they, tested all my vitals. I actually don't even know what the blood test revealed. The danger with having high blood pressure, that's called hypertension in pregnancy, or having a hypertensive crisis, which means you could have a stroke or heart attack. But also my urine count, my protein in my urine was 10,000 times what it should have been.
Whoa.
Which means you could have kidney failure.
Yeah.
So I could have easily died. And so they said, we need to induce labor. And I asked them to give me a C-section. And they were like, why would you, of all people, want a cesarean section? I said, because I know the data. My body's not ready to have a baby. I don't want to be induced. And I'd rather just have a C-section. They said it was too dangerous with where my blood pressure was and that they needed to try. They said, it's only going to be a little baby. You can push it out. And there was also the question of whether I wanted to be induced. They said, you will probably die if you don't have an induction or have a serious stroke. And I said, okay, yes, please induce me. And I think they were shocked that I wanted to have the baby right away. I think a lot of women probably say no because they're very worried for their baby. But I was worried for my toddler.
Yeah.
And it sounds really awful. And Bernie, if you're ever listening to this someday, I love you, honey. But at that time, I had a womb baby, but I had a flesh 2-year-old that I wouldn't want him to lose his mother.
Right.
And also the baby, when your blood pressure's that high and whatnot, he could have easily, been hurt too and was being hurt. His heart rate wasn't very good. So, because oxygen was being depleted. I was seeing spots, all the classic signs of impending stroke. So so they induced labor, and the labor changed and I had a very bad feeling. And so I asked for an epidural, which is strange for someone like me to ever ask for one. But this is where I'm very upset with myself because my midwife wanted to be there and I said, no, we got this. My husband and I got it. So all of these people were reaching out, wanting to come and support us. But I just thought I just needed Dan, who's my, life partner and soulmate. And
why do you think that is?
Well, my anxiety.
Your control, your anxiety,
I didn't want someone seeing me vulnerable.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Plus, as someone who is very educated and who knows all this stuff, I could see one getting to a place where, it's not going as I'm projecting, right?
Yeah.
And therefore I'm, that is an anxiety place.
I don't want anyone to witness it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I wish I had, because I wouldn't have gotten the epidural if I had had proper support. Not that Dan wasn't enough support, but I feel like there's something powerful about having women with you when you're laboring who can support you. So I wish I'd had my midwife there. But so I asked for an epidural, and when they came to give me one, they, escorted my husband out, which is what they do for the epidural, because I guess men faint or something. It's complete bullshit. And what can happen in an epidural, and I knew this, but I wasn't thinking clearly because I was, about to have a stroke. And I was on magnesium sulfate. For any of you ladies who've been on that, I feel for you. Basically, you just feel very sick, very ill. Gives you flu-like symptoms on an IV. And my blood pressure dropped to the floor when they inserted it. And then a field of, I don't know how many nurses and doctors flooded in the room. I had my own big room because I was so high risk.
Okay.
Of maternal mortality. They don't want anyone saying that.
Yeah.
And they checked the baby. They broke my waters quickly. They spread me open, and he was breech. And my doctor, so both doctors I think are about my age, Dr. Oakes and, goodness, I can't remember the other doctor's name. And they were discussing what they should do. And I just screamed at them, just cut him out, get him out. And so they rushed me. They were ripping my earrings out and rushing me to the OR, because we all heard the reason why there was such an emergency is I told my nurse I'm dying because my blood pressure was dropping. She could have just said, hey, your blood pressure's dropping. It's normal to feel like that. But I truly believed I was dying.
What were
in my
you
soul.
Physically? What were you feeling?
You just, I felt like my body was leaving my soul. I felt incredibly woozy. Like lights were fading. Like I couldn't see very well. I was leaning on her. I couldn't support myself. And then I heard Bernie's heart rate go, from the flutter to stop, and we couldn't hear anything. And then I yelled, cut him out. And they scooted me on to the OR, and the damn anesthesiologist wasn't ready. He wasn't there. And they were all rushing and waiting. I can't hear my baby's heart rate anymore. I don't know if he's okay. Dan's not with me. I'm screaming for him. I'm like, get me my husband, get me my husband. They bring him in, and he's in scrubs, and he's like, you're going to be just fine. And he's trying to be super positive because he's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And the anesthesiologist gets there, and then they start to cut, and I feel it. And I tell them via screaming, so they know, and they stop. And then the anesthesiologist keeps pinching me again and again and again. He's like, no, you don't feel anything. He'd pinch my shoulder, which I could feel, and then pinch my stomach, which you're not supposed to be able to feel, but I could feel. And I screamed again when they tried cutting.
You're not supposed to because of the epidural.
Yeah. Well, and he had, done whatever he needed to do.
Okay.
And then he leaned down and pinched me really hard and said, you just need to be quiet and let them do their work. And I was so scared for Bernie. I said, just keep going. The doctors weren't listening to him because he was like, ignore her. She's fine. And so they were waiting for me, which was nice. And I said, please get him out now. And I felt the whole cesarean section and until they were sewing me up. And so that's several cuts, through skin.
You felt the cutting?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's not the worst part though. So, I know it actually happened. So
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It happens. But, the funny part about this is my husband is writing his dissertation on Indigenous activism, Native American activism in the 1960s. And as such, he goes to many different conferences on, anything really related to Native American history. And there's this one scholar he listened to who talked about how time is not how we really see it. It's not this chronological thing that we are always almost living in this palimpsest, which for those of you who don't know what a palimpsest is, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like a sandwich that's been mushed together. I have no idea, like layers, but all the layers are living at once and interacting with one another. And I had recorded an interview for my research for a woman who felt her cesarean section, and I didn't really believe her. But when she told me, I knew that feeling. It was the weirdest thing. But when she told me about her C-section, I felt like, that's happened to me. Though, of course, I had had a vaginal birth. That had never happened to me. And so when it was happening, the thing that I was recalling as it was happening, well, I thought I was dying, number one. Yeah. I was having a brave heart, right?
Sure.
Middle ages.
Yeah, the torture scene?
Yes,
kinda?
that totally was. Danny jokes now that he was waiting for me to yell freedom. That's like which is not really funny, but it is funny.
Yeah, it's darkly funny.
It's darkly funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I remembered that as it was happening. It was like kind of this beautiful like moment where there should have been like some like classical music. And it's like, oh yes, so there was a reason I collected that story for my research.
Wow.
That it's coming true for me. But pulling the baby out was the most painful thing. The cuts weren't, but I could feel them digging inside because he was breech turning him, removing things from my body to get to the baby because they hold. I don't want to. Anyways, if you're pregnant, don't listen to this. But so then that happened, and I was so sure I was dying, and they said I was stable. They took my baby from me, and he was in the NICU for a month. And so that gave me PTSD. And so not postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, which is what many women deal with, but PTSD related to birth trauma and to having my baby almost die and having my own body almost die.
Yeah.
Though my doctors will say I was never close to dying. It's not really what other people say that matters with PTSD. It's if, this is how my therapist has described to me, if you have a core belief that you're going to die, if you truly believe that, then that's what triggers PTSD.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't have to be actually the case.
Yeah.
It's how you...
Though it was a very urgent and somber situation. But they don't, they've seen, they see everything though. They're like, oh no, you were fine. You were fine. I'm like, are you sure? I was fine. Didn't feel like it.
Yeah, that sounds very traumatic. And so...
Yeah.
After that experience, and I'm very sorry you had to go through that, it sounds not ideal.
No.
The simplest way to put it. How are you coming to terms with the idea that you have PTSD, and how did you get to that point?
I saw the therapist I'd been seeing for a while since I had got married to Dan. And she didn't think she'd be able to help me process what had happened. And I posted on Facebook, y'all, I have panic attacks like every moment. I can't breathe. So for the physical manifestation of my PTSD, it feels like I'm having pulmonary embolism. I can't breathe. Like I stop breathing, and I would fail any kind of breath test in the hospital. And I had all the checks done on me because they thought I was having, pulmonary embolism, which can happen after massive abdominal surgery.
Sure.
And high blood pressure. And so someone suggested, I think it's EMDR movement. So you know of this.
Yeah, EMDR. Yeah.
Yes, EMDR. And so I looked, and I couldn't find a therapist near me who practiced it. And then I finally found one, but she also practiced this other thing called comprehensive resource model. And so I went to visit her, and after my first visit, I could breathe normally. And it was such a gift. She told me, you'll be feeling better immediately. And I was like, no, you're a salesperson, because that's not how therapy works. I've been in therapy for years. And she was like,
it's a slog.
There's this, yes.
Yeah.
And it's afterwards, like you feel like, oh gosh, I have to process all this now. You know?
Right.
And it's hard work. It's hard work to even get to your appointment. Like I haven't actually seen my therapist for like 3 months, and I should probably try to see her this week. But anyways, so she said the thing with comprehensive resource model, if any of you want to Google it, they don't have the best webpage for it, but it's a kind of new kind of therapy that combines EMDR and processing things in the ego state, and then also using smells, so essential oils, and really physically finding where you're holding the trauma or the anxiety or the anger. And so that's what we did. We found my physical points, and I breathe into them. She taught me breathing patterns, and boom.
So you're sitting there with her. She's talking you through, like, are you closing your eyes? Are you
opening my eyes? So it depends on what kind of activity we would do, but I would walk into the office. So not
Is it just you or other people there?
Just me and her. I brought Danny, but that wasn't as much fun because you can't get that deep with her.
Sure.
And she's also, is it a Reiki healer? Is that how you say it? R-E-I?
Reiki?
Reiki healer. Yeah. So I think maybe she's just a magical person. I adore her. If anyone after this podcast wants to have her information, I don't think she's taking new clients right now though. But she would have me, she would ask me where I was feeling, whatever I was feeling. So we don't do talk therapy. Really, she could listen to me, but it's not as effective. And as a very physical person, this was incredibly effective. And I'd say I would feel it, close my eyes, and she would just tell me, ask your body, not your mind. Ask your body, not your mind. Ask my body where I was feeling with it. And then she'd say what kind of breath would help after she taught me the breaths. And we would do the breathing together. And then sometimes we would do the ego state work, which is finding a little person who had that physical manifestation happen to them. So the first one was I couldn't breathe. And we realized that the reason why my anxiety manifested in me not being able to breathe, when I was a little girl on a river trip, they thought I was ready to ski. And so they put me on skis and started the boat, I think it's called a dry start, off of dry land.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I haven't skied since.
I've maybe skied once. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, the idea is like, you're supposed to just keep going.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were drunk or whatnot. My father was an alcoholic. I don't know what happened, but I was dragged under the water for some time and pummeling my face and my chest, and I couldn't breathe. So I had never connected that early experience, right, as a child to what was then happening to me now. But she said that your body has memory, my therapist, and your body remembers. It remembers these traumas and it stores them. So when you get re-triggered by something, sometimes that physical manifestation can present itself.
Right.
Isn't that brilliant? Bodies are so cool. I mean, evil sometimes, but so cool. And so... Yeah.
Well, I've mentioned it so many times on this podcast. It's like a mainstay. The Body Keeps the Score. Have you read it?
No.
It's a book I'm slowly going through.
I'll have to get it before we leave.
I think I mentioned the second episode or something, and I was reading it then, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm still reading it, but it's by Bessel van der Kolk, and it's all about that. So the idea with PTSD is that there was a time, this was after the war and stuff. There was a time, people, we just need to talk about it and relive your trauma, right? You just got to talk about it and relive it, right? And over the last 10, 15 years or something, there's been this shift toward more body-based therapies, right? Where, and it's exactly what you're describing. He's just talking about how we hold the stuff. And so...
And specific sites at our body.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It is crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
So wonderful.
So EMDR, things like DBT, other just mindfulness stuff.
What we do is we store new places. And she made this axis in my body where me looking at my favorite eye position, which is down left, and breathing into it for whatever my body needs. Sorry, I'm here. And breathing into it, I can then access some of the good things we've stored. So my little person who was almost drowned, I was able to, as an adult, talk to her about it, and not really talk to her, but listen to my little person. That's ego state work. Okay. And I laughed the first time we did it. I was like, I feel a little, I was going to say nutty, but that's an ableist term. I don't know. I just felt
strange. Yeah, it's strange.
Doing it. And then I'm like, wow, this is helpful. I like talking to my little people. So I talked to my little person and listened to her about how scared she was, and helped her process that. And then we stored her somewhere in my body so she had a safe place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Brought her to a safe place, and I had to envision the safe place, which is actually from The Magician's Nephew, Chronicles of Narnia. The land in between worlds. That's my safe place.
Nice.
If anyone needs to envision a safe place, that's a really good one. I'll meet you there. And so I took her there, and that's what we do. Find my little people that have been harmed, whether it's my mother-in-law and I don't get along very well. So sometimes when I'm feeling vulnerable about that, usually it's actually one of my little people who's having a hard time, who hasn't had something healed. So it just needs healing.
That's awesome. It sounds like you're getting a lot out of that experience.
Yes, but I haven't seen my therapist in 3 months because that's what anxiety does to you, right?
Yeah.
Then you avoid them.
Once you're there, it's like, oh, yes, I remember this. But
nice.
Just getting there. I'm like a 10-minute drive to my therapist, and it still is a challenge sometimes to do it.
Yeah, totally. I understand.
So you should definitely go try to see her before you leave on your trip.
We'll see. Hopefully. I have time.
Yeah. Talk to me about, I'm curious about your, well, I want to hear about Bernie, which is an adorable name, by the way. And how he's doing, and how you and your position as a mom right now and your mental health is doing now.
Oh my gosh, we're so much more stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a revelation. I found out some family members had been saying really, truly awful things about me. And no, it was wonderful. I don't know if you've ever had this happen.
Okay.
Like you hear someone saying nasty things and you realize that's not me.
Oh, okay.
I'm a wonderful person.
Sure.
Fuck you.
That's a good, healthy response.
Oh, yeah,
I think.
it was. And so it activated this. It kind of brought me out of my postpartum issues I was dealing with. I didn't have postpartum depression or do not right now.
Right.
But it helped me, get out of bed. And instead of feeling sad for myself, if I had just had an anxiety attack or a panic attack, to work through it and to take care of myself and to take care of my children. So I became, quite the domestic laborer. I make really good breakfast burritos in the morning. We go hiking every day. And then, but when I do need help, I do have a wonderful partner to help me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Alexander, my toddler knows, about my struggles that I'm going through. And sometimes mommy needs a moment. And he also is practicing mindfulness too. So
Okay.
I'm not going to buy him a punching bag. So hopefully if he inherits, as you know, you can pass it down to your children. Dan has, deals with anxiety, as do I. So if he inherits any of that, he'll have better tools. So, and Bernie's doing very well. He's very healthy.
How old's Bernie now?
He's almost 10 months.
Okay.
But 8 months adjusted. So he acts more like an 8-month-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? 8 months adjusted.
So if anyone ever says 8 months adjusted, that means that if they were born when they should have been born.
Oh, I see.
So he acts like an 8-month-old.
Got it.
Because you grow. A lot of people think that like if baby comes out early, they're the same. They're not. You grow so much more in the womb.
I
so
see.
much more quickly. It takes a lot of time to catch up.
Got it.
Yeah, but he's so any preemie really is immunocompromised if they've had oxygen, and he was on oxygen for a day, but he was very healthy. We had a pretty good NICU experience, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so we're just super blessed. We just can't really be around other people,
right? Because of the
we don't want him getting sick.
Immunocompromised.
Yeah, we have vitamin C packets every morning, and like we have like a range of supplements, but we also are just very careful now.
Yeah.
So.
And how long will that last?
They say 2 years, but from other moms I've talked to, he might just get a lot more sick than other kids when he's little, but that he's out of a danger zone after his lungs have caught up, which is, they say around 2 years. But, as with mental health or anything, it's all flexible. So
yeah.
I think we'll always be a wee bit careful, but not as careful as we're being right now, know.
You mentioned your toddler. What's the toddler's name?
Alexander.
Also a good name.
Yeah.
He's doing mindfulness. What's the conversation like at your house when it comes to your experience and your PTSD and mental health? Well,
we say breaks. We say breaks a lot. Do we need a break right now?
Okay.
A break. He'll say, I need a break from life. I'm like, okay, honey bear.
That's adorable.
Let's just go take a seat and walk through it. And I wish it was picture perfect, but like today we had friends over and it didn't work. He got really overwhelmed and was yelling at a toddler friend. And I said, okay, Allie, get your cup of hot cocoa out. And it's a mindfulness exercise where kids have a little cup of hot cocoa and you take a deep breath in and slowly let the breath out, cooling your cocoa. And then you take a sip and go, And so he was like, I don't want to drink hot cocoa. He was such a little turd. So yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But regardless, I've caught him. We just started really doing this last month. We purchased a book. It's called Breathe Like a Bear. I can actually send you the link. So I don't know if you link in podcast.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely worth $10 on Amazon, parents. Breathe Like a Bear. And I've caught him doing the breaths lately. I mean, I've always breathed with him, but now he's doing it a lot more, that he has those fun visuals and the, sipping hot cocoa meditation and blowing out birthday candles meditation and all the fun things that come in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be really helpful for him. I'm really happy about it. And I wish that my little person had that growing up instead of a punching bag. But hey, parents do what they can.
They do what they can.
I'm glad I had the punching bag. It was a penguin, so I still feel bad. Whenever I see penguins, I'm like, oh my, I really laid in on a penguin punching bag.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So,
poor penguin.
I know, poor penguins.
Penguins are so cute.
I know they are.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I feel like I've been talking too much, but...
No, you're my guest. You're supposed to talk.
I didn't know what podcasts were.
Yeah?
Yeah, until I had to do research. And
okay.
It's internet radio. I'm like, am I living in the dark ages?
You kind of are.
All of my friends are like, oh yeah, I listen to podcasts. I'm like, what?
It's
did
really
this
the
happen?
best. It's really the best thing ever. I've been listening to podcasts for 10 years.
Where have I been? I've been reading my Austen
I don't
novel
know.
in the corner with my like Netflix fireplace on.
Well, you've been an academic. That's where you've been. You've been in
yeah.
school.
Yeah, I think my academic friends listen to podcasts too. I'm finding that everybody does.
Well, here's the thing about podcasts is it's free.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I support a couple of them, like through various places, like Patreon and stuff. But
And you guys have that too, right?
yeah, we do,
Okay.
and just so much amazing content, and like you can find like whatever your interest is.
Yeah.
Like, there's for sure academic podcasts, and
Oh,
there's for
no,
sure
I'm
like
not interested.
literature podcasts.
No.
I mean, there's so many great book podcasts
Yeah.
and history, and
Uh-huh.
social commentary
Yeah.
and Tolkien. It's just like everything. It's awesome.
Good.
It's fun.
All right. I'll have to get into some. You should send me some suggestions while we're on the road.
All right.
I wonder if can Alexa tell me
Mhm.
podcasts?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a mom, what's the most important thing for you nowadays for your mental health? Obviously,
Physicality,
physicality.
walking,
Okay.
being in nature, mindfulness, being
Yeah.
present.
Mm-hmm.
Not sacrificing everything for my children.
Uh-huh.
Realizing that like the sea anemone and the, oh my gosh, what is the thing that stings? Sea anemone and
The pokey one?
Nemo.
Oh, yeah. I don't
we
know.
need each other. We're
Yeah,
symbiotic
yeah.
organisms.
I don't know what it's called.
I'm not going to be the mom that
The
trashes
coral
my
reef
life.
or whatever.
Yeah, it's the anemone and the Nemo. They need each other.
Yeah,
They need it. We're symbiotic. We need each other.
sure.
If I let my kids strain
The
me,
clownfish?
yes, I think. I don't know. We'll have to Google that.
Are we saying Nemo as the character?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
So
then isn't
they
it
can be Nemo or I can be Nemo.
Okay.
I guess I would be the anemone, right? Because I'm like the home for the babies.
Sure.
Whatever.
That works.
Whatever. We can scratch this. Unless it's funny. I have no idea if it is. Anyways, I feel like taking care of yourself and also realizing that it's okay to make mistakes and that you're not going to mess up your children in the same way your parents messed you up. You'll mess them up in a completely new, different way, but hopefully they'll have good tools,
Yeah.
Give them tools. And that's what I'm doing. Making sure Alley Cat is securely anchored so that he knows and Bernie knows that he will always have our love, and that we are imperfect, but, incredibly loving and supportive of them. And that's all you can really do is just really be present. Be present. Oh, and don't have your phones with you when you're hanging out with your kids, unless you're taking a cute Insta video of them. Don't have your phone. Don't teach them to be, that, what is that? Cyborg,
Sure.
Be present.
Yeah.
Because they're always learning from you. So
It is a good lesson to remind ourselves that we're not perfect.
no. Oh my gosh. No. And like that Insta perfect that you see with some moms,
Yeah.
and how cute they are.
Right.
I laugh and I'm like, what did that look like 5 minutes later after the toddler's thrown eggs? And,
Right.
yeah, just be authentic. Yeah.
You do see that on Instagram, don't you?
Oh,
There's like
yeah.
this is my curated life, right? And everything is
Yeah.
perfect. There's something, it's just not real.
I'm so worried that I do that. I've been told that I don't for my friends, but also they're my friends. So I don't know, I guess they would tell me.
I think they tell you.
Yeah. Well, I try to post more nitty gritty things like, like of how life more is. But again, it's life. It's hard to capture it, in a picture.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think even the idea of authenticity, right, has
yes.
become like
With
this
air quotes. With
with
air
air
quotes.
quotes. Yeah, I should say that. This is a audio format. Is become this curated thing too,
Yes.
right?
And I felt like I was kind of selling that on my Instagram without realizing it. And I was like, why? I don't even understand why I'm participating in this. Like I can text my family and friend photos. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to be mentally present for my children and be mentally healthy. And also, perhaps have some kind of presence in social media. But that's a really difficult one. It's like a minefield, to walk through.
Yeah.
So, because I feel like I've had a lot of moms tell me that I'm an inspiration to them. And it's embarrassing saying that because I don't know why I would be inspiring to someone, and perhaps that's my anxiety. I don't know, but because I talk frankly about mental health struggles, right? Or I talk frankly about my experiences, but I don't know if that should be inspiring to anyone,
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is because I've been called, quote unquote, inspirational
I was
too.
like, are we too inspiring people? Sharing in
To
the
some
chat?
people for doing this podcast, right?
It is inspiring though.
I
Yeah,
mean-
because you're taking the veil off. That's what you're doing. You're boldly saying, you know what, this is an issue, and it's also isn't it a national epidemic, mental health crisis? right?
Absolutely. And I,
Yeah.
I don't, I didn't like go into the, creating this thing to like, I'm going to inspire. I'm just like,
Me too,
this
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
this is what I need. And I feel passionate about it. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to do my thing. And like, that's how you operate, right? You're like, this is what's right for me. I'm going to speak my truth.
Yeah.
And if it impacts people, great. But that's not what you're going for, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. But I think at times, and perhaps this is, my anxiety, like when I have a woman come to me who is like, Katie, you know a lot about this. Can you help me? Like, how am I a person who can help other people? When I myself am struggling. And I love helping people with, if they're having a hard time with their birth and they, need factual information
Yeah.
or with postpartum or with mental health issues. I love being present for people, but it is that old, like, imposter syndrome does creep up and say,
Yeah.
who are you to be helping someone?
I feel that all the time with this. But I
You're
remind
wonderful.
No, but I remind myself, and this
Yeah.
I think will help you and our listeners, is we're never going to know everything.
Of course not. Yeah.
And it's a spectrum, right? So like
Yeah.
some people know more than others, some people know less. And,
Yeah.
it's if that one person who came to you doesn't know this fact that you have, then that's a gift.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
So-
love learning new things. It's one of my favorite things.
It's
To learn something
the
new.
best part of living.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
to grow and to change and to adapt and make community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next with you're getting your PhD right now?
Sometime. Yeah, someday.
Okay.
Dan and I were supposed to finish this year, but then, we bought a camper.
Slackers.
Totally. More like avoiders.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
And if my dissertation chair is listening, yes, I am finishing it next year. I promise.
What's the dissertation on?
Mine is called Choreographing Childbirth, and it's about how people learn to birth. So I'm questioning how the social, the familial, how family talking about birth, or if you know your own birth story, how that impacts your actual physical movement in birth and the choices you make in your birth. And so I'm already writing it. It's a close case study of 3 women, self-identifying women, because men do birth too, though that's another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool work. It's also triggering for me. So I've been writing, and then all of a sudden I, can't breathe. And I'm like, why can't I breathe? What's happening? And I totally
Yeah.
forget, oh, this is PTSD. I forgot.
Right.
So it's hard for me to write about it.
Sure.
And Dan's, writing his as well. So hopefully next year we'll walk the stage together, because we're both at UC Riverside. So with the children,
Okay.
that would be fun to bring them both up on stage.
That would be amazing.
I think we're going to.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And what does that do, getting your PhD, what does that do for your career?
Well, right now I am a board member of the Milky Way Foundation. I was just brought on. And
Okay.
the Milky Way Foundation is a nonprofit organization that aims to improve the lives of mothers and babies in the United States. We have one of the world's highest maternal mortality rates and infant mortality rates, especially for women of color. Black women in particular are, I think it's 3 to 4 times more likely to die in birth or postpartum than a white woman. And so, there's racial disparities.
Yeah.
And so part of our goal is to battle back against that, promoting breastfeeding, promoting, time off for women and whatnot. We're working on a documentary right now on bettering NICUs. So it's close to my heart.
That's amazing.
And so that's, helps with that. I think having a doctor in front of my name might help me with Amazon returns. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. How
Just so Dan can call you doctor, and you can call Dan doctor?
Yeah, well, I know it's not calling her a letterhead. It's going to be the Doctors Stahl-Kovell.
Wow.
Isn't that cute? Right?
Bunch of overachievers over here.
We totally, well, I am. I don't know. Is he an overachiever? He's always wanted to be a historian. This is his passion.
Yeah.
Mine, I stumbled
He
into
looks
mine.
like an historian.
Right?
He does.
The long hair, the plaid, the
Yeah.
beard.
Yeah.
Slightly
Stocky.
pale.
Yeah. Definitely a historian.
Yeah, definitely historian.
That's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, what else do we want to say about motherhood? Is there anything? So the Milky Way Foundation, is there a place where people can go to learn more about that?
Yes. I'll make sure to link the website.
Okay, great. Send me the link and I can link it.
I am the membership chair, and we're going to be starting membership soon. So I'll try to send that information over to you too. But it's going to be really exciting. And if you guys want, there's already a movie out. It's called The Milky Way. And I don't think it's on Netflix anymore, but if you go to our webpage, you can find a link to it. And it's all about the culture against breastfeeding, how, breastfeeding became sexualized and, made to be something that's not normal, and the kind of good work a lot of people are doing to promote breastfeeding and to make breastfeeding easier for working moms and working families. And it's just an excellent documentary. I think anybody would appreciate it. Parent, non-parent, grandparent, doesn't matter. Yeah.
What kind of headway has our society and culture made in terms of the view of breastfeeding?
I feel like that's hard. Yeah, I don't have any data on that. But I'm such an academic. I don't have any data. What is it to say?
You don't need data. Just tell me. Just speak from your heart.
Well, I feel like we're turning around, because I think there was this like push for breastfeeding, and then it made formula feeding moms like feel inadequate in some way. But that's really complicated, because that wasn't due to the push for breastfeeding. It was like formula companies, saying, oh, well, they're saying you're not enough or something, and that's not true whatsoever. Some people need to formula feed, and that's fine.
Sure.
Some people need to breastfeed, that's fine. But I feel like it's allowing moms to mother in the way that they want, whether that's wearing your baby 24/7 like I do. Bernie is either on me or, crawling around. Or nursing in public, and if someone gives you a bad look, giving them the finger, or, taking their picture or complaining about it, or me being on a plane and someone telling me, this happened to me, to pump in a bathroom, me telling them to fuck off, and knowing that it was my legal right to breastfeed in public and to pump in public if I want to. So I think we have come far, but then I also follow a group of, very liberal women. So I don't know. That's my worldview.
Right.
So we're going to be traveling through the South and in all sorts of fun places, and I'll be breastfeeding, there, and promoting awareness and talking to people and making communities. So I could probably check in with you next year and let you know what that was like.
Okay.
So I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
We always talk about empathy heroes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
At the end. Don't be sorry.
Okay.
Do you want to share your empathy hero first?
No, you go first.
Okay.
It's your show.
No. Okay. So my empathy hero this week is this guy right here. I am holding my little Funko Iron Giant. I'm also wearing him on my shirt.
Oh, wow.
I know. I am a fan of the Iron Giant. If you guys haven't seen, it's an animated film called The Iron Giant. It came out, I think, in '99. So it's been a while. It's just it's set in the 50s, during sort of like post-war America, and the Iron Giant is this sort of alien from another planet, and he meets this boy, and the relationship is beautiful, and the Iron Giant is a very empathetic character, and I'm very fond of that movie. It brings me to tears every time I watch it, and so the Iron Giant's my empathy hero this week.
So my empathy hero, I don't know if someone said this, because I've listened to 3 of your podcasts. I still don't. Podcast doesn't roll off my tongue easily, because I'm like, I don't say that. But J.K. Rowling, has someone said her?
No.
So not fictional, British. I adore her for her speaking her truth, right, constantly, and for how she was, I think, did she attempt suicide or considered it? Right? Do you know her story? I can't remember.
I think she definitely had suicidal ideation. For sure.
Yes, I don't think there was a physical manifestation of it, but and had children, was a single mom, and wrote Harry Potter, and not only like a lot of people talk about her financial success, but really found who she was and was able to better the world for it.
Yeah.
And to create empathy. I mean, I have so much empathy for Harry, you know, and I have so much empathy for all of the characters. You know,
Yeah.
there's not one good guy, one bad guy, unless we're talking about Voldemort. And I adore her. I adore her. So,
There's much to be adored in
especially
J.K.
as
Rowling.
an empathy hero, right?
Yeah.
She created, millennials like who mostly grew up with like the stories of, of Harry Potter, an army of empathetic children, which is what we're seeing, in these recent marches and in these recent times. And it's been such a pleasure to teach college right now and to interact with students who are so much more aware of their political power than I was at their age.
Totally.
Isn't it cool?
It is super cool.
It's so rad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great empathy hero. She's the best. And I've read those books, I don't know, probably 3 times over. I still have my Harry Potter pillowcase that I got like when the first book came out. It's very old, but I still
adored.
Much adored. Yeah, she's a good one.
Good.
So Katie,
Yes, no.
Obviously, you are going to be on this pop-up journey, so you're going to be sort of where.
Anyone can follow me at Mama Feminist
Great.
if you want. It's public. I've only blocked certain family members.
Okay.
For mental health issues.
And we'll link in the show notes the Milky Way Foundation.
Yes, and there was one more we were going to link. Oh, I forgot.
Well,
we'll have to re-listen.
I'll listen and do all that stuff.
All right.
You don't need to worry about that.
I won't worry about it.
Well, thanks for being on the show. It was I appreciate you sharing your story, and I'm happy to see you and all that loveliness.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And to you listeners, I'm here, you're here. We're here together on this wayward, overwhelming, awe-inspiring pale blue dot. We have each other. It's you, me, empathy.